observed for the last decade or more that the mangrove is under stress. There are certain areas, especially in the central part of the mangrove, that are not receiving enough fresh water. And what that has done is create a situation where the salinity levels are high, and you don't have the optimal conditions to support proper growth of the plants. The Saint Lucia National Trust signed an agreement with the Institute of Marine Affairs out of Sea that we go to undertake a study of the mangrove to assess the current situation, to find out exactly what was creating this dieback. The main finding was that the dieback was really created by a problem with the mangrove's hydrological system. So what we have observed is that some of these channels are heavily silted.
It's from since in 1986, a group called the Aupicon Charcoal and Agriculture Producers. They were invested in this area for livelihoods for charcoal making, but they do it in a sustainable way. They have been trained on how to actually cut especially in the rainy season, if you cut the mangrove the wrong way, it would be a dead plant. But if you cut it the right way, you get 5 or 6 copies coming out of it. We have 18 persons doing charcoal, and we found that it was not sustainable for the growth of the mangrove because of climate change, of less water coming in there. So we had to transfer to some alternative livelihoods. So we wrote a project and we applied to the Jeff Small grant in 2015 and got some grant to actually switch from only charcoal making to alternative livelihoods into beekeeping. So what we did, we eliminated some from the 18, we took 4 from charcoal and we actually trained them into doing beekeeping. Within the same year, we got another grant from Australian Aid. So this was that was actually sealed our deal. So we moved 9 of them from charcoal into seamoss farming. So that's why now we have only 7 persons doing charcoal within the mangrove area in a sustainable way.
We've begun to look at the channels, map the channels, so we can, using technology, get the right flows, the right levels for adequate flow from one part of the mangrove to the next. The other thing that we need to do is to either refurbish the culverts or replace them entirely, because some of them are submerged. And we're now working with the Infrastructure Surveys Department to establish the necessary levels so that we can begin to do the heavy work of desilting, restoring drains, and restoring culverts. We received was a commitment of stakeholders to join forces with the Saint Lucia National Trust to address this challenge, to ensure that the mangrove returns to its full health.